فانبيسي ولد ببيروت سنة 1965. بعد دراسته ببوليتكنيك انستيتيوت انتقل لنيويورك ليكون مساعد مصور مع رالف جيبسون، سارة مون ودوان مايكلز وكتار غيرهم. مع هالبداية كون نظرة ثاقبة، إتقان للمهنة وبنى أسلوب بصري خاص. شهرته بتتوسع أكثر مع تصويره لعلامات تجارية مهمة مثل بروكتر، تانغ، مالبورو، ليتكس، سيكو وكوداك. بين الفن والموضة تناقض بين اللاواقعية والواقعية. موفينج لايتس هو عنوان المعرض يلي قدمه تييري فان بيسن بجالوري ألوان بالصيفي فيليج. نعرف أكثر شو بيتضمن هالمعرض.
I was looking for a title for the exhibition, and there's a lot of motion in what I do. It looks like it's an image that is really caught, and you want to know what's after or what's before. And I went to the core of it, and for me, movement is life. As long as you're moving, you're alive, and motion is life. Light is what allows you to see it, and what shines contrast on it. It's also what guides us. If we don't have a point towards which to go, a light point for me it has to be light. I don't go towards darkness, I go towards light and colors. And when you have motion with a direction, it allows you to stay away from restlessness, which is aimless motion, which is not life, it's just distraction. So that's why we called it Moving Light, because I represent life to what is, to me, its fullest, full of colors and optimism and energy. And all my images are about movement. No, I mean, rarely would you find an image that looks like nothing happens before or after it. In Moving Light, you have the light and you have lightness, the weightlessness. And to me, it is something that, I don't know if it's important, it's just that it's always in my vision. Lightness. I often ask my models or people who pose for me to try and imagine as if they had half their weight. You have times in life, and often, where darkness invades it. It's using darkness to nurture my quest for light and colors and life, pulls me away from reality. And reality, one thing we have in reality is the weight, our gravity. That's why I'm trying to avoid it through transforming what is real into something that is almost impossible but desirable. And weightlessness is one of them. It's a dream. A client asked me to do exactly what I do. They didn't want me to change any of my vision, but to include their product in my picture. They didn't know what they were going to do with it. It's just that use this bag. That's all they want to talk about. Everything else, this bag and this bag, is what they want me to introduce in the picture. And the rest, I work with a stylist, Lori Goldstein, who's a stylist in New York. She understood exactly the lightness I wanted and the colors. And everything else is things I chose because I liked them. So the clothing, the girls, the hairdress, everything was done just because I wanted it this way. And my only constraint was to add the purses. And I asked them to go to Miami to do it. They said anything. It was really a dream client in the way that they asked me to do what I do normally, but to use it for commercial purposes. I was born here. My mother is Lebanese. I grew up in Beirut. I lived in many cities around the world, but every time I come to Beirut, I feel it's my home. I miss skies, sun, fluffy clouds, and colors. It's one thing that I grew up with in Lebanon for the first 26 years of my life. And then I moved to northern European countries where the light is a bit duller, the colors are less, a bit more tame, and there's less blue skies. So I just was seeking that, and I wanted to see it. And I used my work to try and go to places where there's blue sky, or take advantage of the blue skies when they were in those European countries, to see them on my screen, on my camera, on my prints, in my portfolio myself, when I needed it. I find my inspiration in dreams. Almost all of the images you see here today started as a dream, a daydream or a dream, and I looked at the dream and drew it on a piece of paper. All of those images started on a piece of paper. Dreams are important not only for me as an artist to create my images, but I feel that dreams in essence are different from reality. If you find inspiration in your dreams, you can probably change reality. It's people who dream things that change things. It's not the cynics. Cynics don't do much to change the world in the better, to the better for everybody, but dreamers do. Well, the technique is I do a lot of compositing. If you're standing next to me with the camera when I'm making those images, you don't see the image. The day of the shoot is really gathering elements to compose the image. A dream becomes a drawing. The drawing develops into a more precise idea of what the image will be, and then I go shoot the image and composite it. And it's a technique that I started in London when we moved there together with Marianne Rantous. We really started this idea of daydreaming together, drawing, preparing. So she was a stylist, so she would get the clothes from the fashion designer that would fit the idea. So the idea had to be predetermined, so we can develop a dialogue. There was a strong dialogue between me and her to develop every image and to design the image before we shoot it. So she would really go and take the clothes that will express the idea the best and enhance the idea. And she's not with us anymore. She passed 10 years ago. But I still keep the same principle of work that we developed together. You know, when, especially in our countries in the Middle East, when you have young people who love each other, but the parents forbid them from seeing each other, well, we imagine, what about the parents are so adamant that you never see each other, that you have to wait until they're not here. So we imagine a couple that had to wait for their parents to die until they can have a love story and go crazy like kids. So we pushed it to the limit and imagine how old can they be. So we took really old couples from a modeling agency, they're 81 years old each, and we told them the story. So they went wild and did crazy things, playing like kids, as if they were 16 again. It was really very joyful for them and for us. And there's 6 pictures, only 2 of them are here, but the whole story is 6 pictures. It was called Alone at Last. The best thing you can do if you want to be an artist or photographer or any kind of artist is to ingest, digest, and then create. By ingest, I mean let the world influence you. What you see, what you hear, what you read has an emotional effect on you. Let it happen and understand how you react to it and create from this. And then you look at your work and you let the work teach you why you did it. What is it you like in it exactly? Every image taught me something. And this is how you reach the mastery at what you do, because once you know exactly, there's a dialogue between you and your images, they tell you why you made them, you can make them easily afterwards, and then you develop a style. And for me, the most important thing as an artist is to have a way of seeing, a visual language, and this is how I developed it, and I think it's a good way. Maybe not the only way, but it's a good way to develop it. Hope, optimism, that's the 2 things I'd like to transmit, because I need it also for myself. We all come from a region where darkness can be quite strong. So if we don't have ways or inspirations to find joy and optimism and lightness, it's a bit sadder. So I try to make it less sad.